An urgent manhunt is underway for a father accused in the horrific murders of his 3 young daughters. New ring camera video from the Chelan County Sheriff's Office showing Travis Decker from the days leading up to his visitation with the girls. We also have new images as authorities continue to search for him. Decker, who once served in the military, is highly trained and is believed to be dangerous. I'm your host, Kennedi Walker, and I'll walk you through the details. You're watching Law & Crime. Today, federal and local authorities in Washington are searching the wilderness for Travis Decker, who they say killed his 3 daughters, 9-year-old Paityn, 8-year-old Evelyn, and 5-year-old Olivia during a court-approved visitation. New images and ring camera video showing Decker in the days leading up to his visitation, revealing his last known appearance. Decker, according to authorities, is former military and is capable of spending weeks in the wilderness alone. In a press release, the Chelan County Sheriff's Office said, new information has revealed Mr. Decker is well versed in wilderness survival and capable of spending days or even weeks in the wilderness on his own with very little equipment. Although this can be a challenge while searching for him, our personnel are well equipped to seek and apprehend him.
When talking with his father, it sounds at times that he would go out and would be living off grid for sometimes up to 2.5 months. So we also understand too that he at times would do caching. So we understand that that's a possibility that he could have scoped out this area before, put supplies out there, and has the ability and the knowledge to survive for a long period of time. We saw this before a couple years ago when we assisted Kittitas County with a similar case. So we are putting our resources out. We saw our SWAT team today out off the icicle drainage, checking residences through there, in addition to us still having units out on the ground, continuing to check, in addition to expanding out and looking at local counties. So we're going to continue to do what we need to do, partnering with our federal partners. We will again want to say thank you to the FBI, Homeland Security, that has assisted us more yesterday. Also going with the Marshal Services, the Washington State Patrol that has been working alongside of us, along with their detective units. And we've also had a forensics electronic detective going through the cell phone and other electronic items that we've collected on the scene. So we're hoping to gather more information, take that intel that we've gathered today, and continue to press on tomorrow.
On Friday, their mother, Whitney, reported the girls missing after they didn't return from a planned visitation with Decker, who reportedly was not authorized to have overnight visits with the girls and was experiencing mental health issues. But authorities say there had been no prior issues between the ex-couple.
There were reported concerns of Travis being homeless and financially stressed recently. Whitney was clear that during the exchanges that had occurred in the past, that Travis was very communicative with her in any deviations from the parenting plan.
On Monday, June 2nd, a deputy found Decker's white GMC Sierra pickup with 2 bloody handprints on the back near the Rock Island Campground. The girls' bodies were found close by. Investigators say zip ties and plastic bags were scattered throughout the area, and it appears the girls had been suffocated. A motive is unknown.
And I don't think there'd be any motive that'd be acceptable. I mean, clearly, it's not the decision of a sound mind, and these young girls were a victim.
Court documents obtained by Law & Crime reveal Decker was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder and was supposed to get mental health treatment and anger management, but had not. All 3 girls attended Lincoln Elementary School in Wenatchee, the community coming out to pay their respects. Classmates writing messages trying to process the unthinkable. An online fundraiser has already collected more than $800,000 for the victim's mother, who overnight lost all 3 of her children. The organizer writing, "These girls were true lights in this world, and it is a darker place without them." Authorities continuing to urge Decker to turn himself in.
Travis, if you're out there seeing us, we'd like you to turn yourself in. We want a peaceful resolution to this, but we're not going to relinquish our efforts and giving up any effort that we can proceed to track you down. So please turn yourself in. Let's wrap this up and do what's right for your kids.
A warrant has been issued for Decker's arrest, charging him with 3 counts of kidnapping and first-degree murder.
If you are putting together a timeline as a prosecutor, he's the last person that's documented having been with them. They're found near the truck. I think his cell phone is found near that campsite or where that truck was, and then leaving that area. So it puts him, it's evidence that puts him on that scene where the girls were found. It's a crucial piece of evidence in this case.
Look, I know I say this all the time, but truly covering these stories day in and day out, you realize things are a bit crazy out there. That's why I am so excited to tell you about a product we, yes, we here at Law and Crime created, the Law and Crime Safety Bracelet. This is a bracelet you can wear around your wrist or keep in your car or in your purse, and it includes multiple items that give you actual peace of mind. I'll show you what I mean. A whistle, which has a classic high pitch, great for drawing attention when it matters most, a compact flashlight that can be used to guide you in the dark or signal for assistance, a seatbelt cutter you can use in case of a car emergency, and a handy utility knife for multiple uses. And these are just to name a few. So right now you can go to truecrimegoods.com and use promo code SAFETY15 for 15%. That's promo code SAFETY15 for 15% off. Order your safety bracelet now and carry confidence everywhere you go. Criminal defense attorney Anthony Asso says if convicted, Decker is facing life in prison. And even if he does not confess, prosecutors can still make a case to convict him given the evidence.
When I was a prosecutor, I oftentimes thought that circumstantial evidence is better than witness testimony because circumstantial evidence doesn't lie. And you put together things like DNA. And I imagine that when they conduct the autopsies in this case, they will swab the areas on the bodies of these children that were possibly where they were strangled and make DNA comparisons. That's the kind of circumstantial evidence. Well, I'd argue that's direct evidence, but that's the kind of direct evidence that they will couple with circumstantial evidence to try and make a case against Mr. Decker here.
Also says due to Mr. Decker's mental health issues, his attorney could explore an insanity defense.
It's a case-by-case basis, and if the evidence supports a theory of insanity that the defendant didn't recognize the consequences of their actions at the time, then there's an argument to be made. So even if the defense can't establish an insanity at the guilt-innocence phase, it's certainly relevant to mitigating punishment in the punishment phase, to say that he was struggling with these things and they were a cause of his actions in this case. And for that reason, he should be prosecuted less severely than somebody who's thinking clearly and doesn't have mental health issues.
But also says despite Decker's diagnosis, him leaving the scene may hurt his case.
Mr. Decker fled from the scene. And if that can be established, that indicates a consciousness of guilt and a recognition of the consequences of what he did.
At the time of the girl's death, Decker was homeless. Police say he is 5'8" and 190 pounds. He has black hair, brown eyes, and was last seen wearing a light-colored shirt and dark shorts. Police say he had been living in his vehicle or at various motels or campgrounds in the area, but despite his living situation, was still granted visitation with his daughters. In an interview with KING5, the attorney of Whitney Decker, the girl's mother, said by all outside perspectives, he was a good father. The court gave us the parenting plan we requested. Also says the court system that allowed that could come under scrutiny.
Assuming that they knew that there was mental health and that he was homeless and didn't have a secure place where he was supposed to keep the children, I think that raises a lot of red flags.
Travis Decker is still on the run. Police urge anyone who has any information to come forward. Again, he is described as 5'8" and 190 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. Anyone with information is urged to call the CCSO tip line at 509-667-6845. For Law and Crime, I'm Kennedi Walker.